blockages within the spiritual chakra is said to lead to physical discomfort or issues in the physical body. Welcome back to yet another episode with me, Lax, and I've got a question. Have you noticed how spirituality and Eastern concepts are becoming quite big these days? There are so many spiritual coaches and influencers, just people in the spiritual sphere of the internet that are talking about Eastern and Indigenous practices and ideologies. Now, some of these people do a really good job. You know, they explain the different concepts really well. They take you through a journey of understanding why these different ideologies have come about with these different Indigenous groups, and also the significance it holds, and what the belief systems are. And some people, well, they don't do a very good job. Not to be a conspiracy theorist, but I do think a big reason for this is because most of their focus is on selling their coaching services or selling their free guides or making people go to their podcasts or YouTube channels. There are some concepts and terms that have come from Indigenous ideologies that have been plucked, taken, and become buzzwords for whatever platform it is, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, where a lot of content is being created with these ideas, but just kind of watered down versions of them. We don't tend to learn much about the concept itself. And when we don't learn about the concept, it can lead to a lot of misinterpretation of these belief systems and ideologies. And, this is something that annoys me. I have ranted about it at least in 2 videos. My yoga video, which is somewhere up there, and my Eastern medicines video, which is somewhere up there. So if you would like to hear me rant, please feel free to click on one of those videos or both of those videos. Please click on both of them and watch them, and then maybe go back and watch every other video that I've made if you haven't already. This is something that I think is really important. I think it's important that we understand the beliefs and where they've stemmed from, so we can also understand the significance it holds for each culture. Because of that, I had an idea, and that idea is to start my own spiritual coaching business. So if you would like to join my waitlist, please feel free to click in the link below, and I'll get back to you and help you find enlightenment somehow. That's obviously a joke. I don't even know where to start, and that's not something that I think I'm qualified to do. So instead, I think it would be better for me to start a mini-series researching and exploring each buzzword or popular spiritual concept that's come from South Asian cultures, and explain what they are, where they've come from, and try my very best to make them a bit more digestible, because I'll be honest, I got quite confused when I was reading about a few of them. But yes, so let's start this mini-series by discussing chakras. Now, you might have heard of terms and phrases like chakra alignment or opening up your chakras. I've most commonly heard these terms used in yoga classes or yoga videos, where they're encouraging you to open up or focus on a certain chakra. And of course, they do tend to guide you on where this chakra is, but it would be good to understand what the importance is, what they are. Why are we even concerned with it when it comes to yoga? But to understand what a chakra is, we have to take it right back and first understand what prana and nadis are.
Tell me everything you know about chakras.
What are chakras?
In order to master the avatar state, you must open all the chakras.
A quick disclaimer, I do not speak Sanskrit, and therefore I am very sorry if I mispronounce any words. I have tried. I've been trying to practice this as I've researched just before recording, but I don't know what's going to happen. So if I mispronounce, I am so sorry. So prana is the Sanskrit term for life energy. It's essentially the universal energy that flows within, through, and around the body. It's considered the breath. If you've already watched the yoga video, you would know about the 8 limbs of yoga and how we talked about the pranayama. And the pranayama is one of the limbs of yoga which focuses on the breath, and that is linked to prana. Now, prana will flow through the body through channels which are known as the nadis. And now is the confusing part. On either side of our spine, you'll find two holes, and these act as pipes for our nerves to pass through. The left channel, spiritually and within this concept of nadis, is known as the Ida, and the right channel is known as Pingala. In the energy body, also known as Pranamayoksha, there are 72,000 nadis. These 72,000 nadis are split into three different categories: the left, the Ida, the right, the Pingala, and the central, which is known as the Sushumna. Sushumna. So these nadis are pathways in the body, but they're not actually physically manifested. It's all energetic and spiritual. Now, it's said at the very beginning of time, everything was primordial and there was no duality. But then when creation started, duality began to exist. Ida in Pingala represents duality in existence, which we traditionally personify as the Shiva and Shakti. These are linked to the concept of the divine masculine and divine feminine, which is a whole other video of its own. So wait for that, subscribe, and maybe you'll get to see it soon and be notified. So the Ida is considered the feminine, while the Pingala is considered the masculine. Sushumna is considered an empty space where you can create anything you want. So where do chakras fit into all of this? So chakras actually exist within the astral body, which is the energetic body that exists within our physical body. They're seen as 114 junction points with the nadis. So these are the points where the Ida, the Pingala, and Sushumna all kind of meet and cross over. 2 of the chakras of the 114 are outside the physical body, and of the remaining 112 chakras, only 108 can be worked upon. These 112 chakras arrange themselves into 7 dimensions, and these 7 dimensions are the chakras that we know. So each of these chakras will have its own color and symbol, and they all are linked to a particular gland in the physical body. Blockages within the spiritual chakra is said to lead to physical discomfort or issues in the physical body. So what are these 7 chakras? And here, once again, I'm so sorry for butchering the Sanskrit. The 7 chakras are the Muladhara, which is known as the root chakra, and it's characterized by emotions of survival, stability, and ambition. Then you have the Swadhisthana, located at the reproductive organs, and they're characterized by creativity, desires, and self-worth. Manipuraka is located below the navel, and it's also known as the solar plexus chakra. This is where emotions such as ego, anger, and aggression reside, but is also known for being the chakra linked to intellect. Anahata is the heart chakra, which is characterized by emotions of love, attachment, compassion, trust, and passion. The Vishuddhi chakra, also known as the throat chakra, is associated with inspiration, healthy expression, fate, and the ability to communicate well. The Ajna chakra, which is a chakra that you may possibly be quite familiar with if you've watched the Bindis video, which you can see somewhere on the screen, is the third eye chakra. And it's said that meditating on this chakra can destroy the karma of past lives and bring liberation and intuitive knowledge. It's also attributed to intelligence, intuition, insight, and self-knowledge. And finally, we have the Sahasrara, which is the crown chakra. And this is the center of spirituality, enlightenment, and dynamic thought and energy. It allows for inward flow of wisdom and it brings cosmic consciousness. Now, the concept of chakras is a classification system. As I mentioned, the chakras are just put together into these categories in the body, even though there are many more than just 7. And this is to simplify the concept for people and make it easier for them to understand where they should be concentrating.
If you activate this dimension of energy, other dimensions of life will open up. One thing is, are you ready for those dimensions?
Now, before I end, I want to briefly touch on something known as Kundalini awakening. This is something that's linked to chakras, which is why I'm mentioning it here. Having said that, I would like to do a whole dedicated video to Kundalini awakenings because they are very interesting. They are linked to spirituality, but I do think an understanding of these initial concepts is very important before we can even get onto that. And it's something that does confuse me a bit, I have to admit. So let's get a little bit more of an understanding of what Kundalinis are. Yoga refers to this latent stored energy known as Kundalini, which is symbolically represented as a sleeping serpent coiled at the root chakra at the base of the spine. As mentioned before, prana flows through the Ida and the Pingala, but it does not flow through the Sushumna. And this is quite typical for most people, as the Sushumna is usually blocked at the base of the spinal column. But through practicing the limbs of yoga, not just the asanas, which is the physical aspect, but the other 7 limbs as well, especially pranayama, this allows the sushumna to open up and prana to flow through it. Now, this is said to awaken the sleeping serpent and allow it to make its way up from the root to the crown chakra. It does this by passing through the 6 chakras on the way up to the crown. And through doing this, it creates a union between the Shiva and the Shakti, which is said to then stop an individual being bound by time and space. Now, of course, I have not had the experience of having a Kundalini awakening, because if I had, I might have started my spiritual coaching business. But I think that's one of many reasons that's stopping me from starting Lax's spiritual coaching one track to enlightenment services. But like I mentioned, I will be doing a separate video on this and maybe even trying to get someone that's had a Kundalini awakening to come and join this video or that particular video. One person that I do know is my sister who's had a Kundalini awakening. So if you would like to find out a bit more, you can also go to her Instagram page at Shaded Love, where she has got loads of reels and discussions and posts on her experience. So if you found this interesting, liked discussing these topics and spirituality and understanding the terms that you're probably hearing everywhere now, or maybe it's just me, maybe my algorithm has just been set to put all of this content in my direction. But like I mentioned, if you would like to learn more about the different concepts that I'll be exploring, such as Shiva Shakti and the divine feminine and masculine, as well as Kundalini, karma, all of that, if you would like to hear more about it, please subscribe and like, even if you don't want to hear more about it, because those aren't the only topics I do. But yes, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!